Hello, legends, and welcome to Blunt Force Healing Podcast, episode number 240. Yes, 240 days passed since the first episode has been created. So, on September 19th, that journey started, and now we are pretty much 48 working weeks since that started, which is quite huge. And well, especially for me, because as I wrote many times before and said many times before, building something consistent and kind of routine was always hard in the past. And considering that there were so many days and situations where I could stop or have a gap in recording or writing, and I didn't, it makes me really proud. And seeing that some people are actually viewing it, reading, and watching or listening to the podcast is an amazing feeling. Of course, it's not a thousands of people audience, so some people might say that, well, what the hell are you talking about? Nobody's watching you. But yes, people do. And that's amazing, regardless how many people there are. There are a couple that are very consistent and watching regularly or reading regularly and engaging with the posts. So I really thank you for that. Today is quite a different day, I would say, because first of all, I got finally the proper night's sleep. And immediately, energy levels and that fresh state of mind hit me in the morning. And this is an amazing feeling. So, my first message straight away would be, if any of you have a tendency or bad habit of staying long and late, make sure that you think about it if it's the right thing to do. Well, I know it isn't. And really, there is no excuse for it. Even though some people might feel better in going to sleep late, but the most recent science around sleep, and the only science around sleep that started really just about 2-3 decades ago, shows amazing discoveries. And the first part of sleep should actually fit within a certain time, depending on the length of day or how long the daylight occurs in your situation. But still, because we wake up in the morning hours and should go to sleep in the evening hours, that circadian rhythm, even though it's independent and from the one that daylight sets for most of the time, we still have to align it if we want a healthy body and healthy mind. Some people think that, well, if I want to sleep 8 hours and I go to sleep at midnight and wake up at 8, it's still 8 hours, right? Yes, it is. It's still better to sleep that 8 hours than, or, you know, less than 6, but 8 hours starting from midnight will be worse than 8 hours, starting from, let's say, 10 p.m. or 22 in 24 hours clock. Mainly because our body is set to specific rhythm, and although independent from the daylight a little bit, it still sets itself and resets regularly depending on our lifestyle. And if our lifestyle is a bit more to the late hours, it resets badly, and you have a certain drift that doesn't make your life better. Your lifespan is likely impacted, and your health and energy levels, as well as brain health, will be declining, or at least will be impaired to some extent. And you might see other people not necessarily taking care about their body, as you do. Maybe you go to the gym and you do a lot of stuff, but you just go late to sleep. But other people seem to be more energetic, happier, and just feeling better, despite the fact that they don't exercise. They just eat average, maybe walk, and don't do much in terms of the physical activity, but they might be going to sleep earlier, and it will make a difference. So sleep is very important, and many people underestimate it. Today's post will be a bit shorter because I'm recording currently on a Mac instead of the phone, which takes a lot more space and will take a lot more time to upload. And I just do it for a test today and see how it goes, because a couple of things changed on the Spotify front and the WordPress integration. A lot of things are being decommissioned, so there are upsides and downsides to it. Upside is that I will be more flexible in terms of when I can record a post and when I can upload it, because I was really scheduled to write the post first, then a specific integration between WordPress and Spotify was displaying new button only when the post was completed, so I couldn't record the podcast before the post. And obviously that button triggered the recording, and after the recording, the integration back to WordPress was allowing me to insert or inject the button to the podcast into the actual blog post. Now those things are decommissioned, so it will be less integrated, but it's also a good thing because I won't be waiting for that button to appear, and it won't be messing up with my podcast anymore. So I am free now to rearrange what I want and when I want to record, which is great. As I can see, it's already 700 megabytes that this short 9 minutes video has, so it's way bigger than it's on the phone when I record it, and it's worse quality as well, so I'm not sure if I'll be continuing that. Today, Julian was on the football training or the soccer training, depending how you call it. And during his training, I tested a new habit, or I would say parallel thing that I want to implement, and it was great because while he went playing soccer, I left the car on the car park beside the pitch and went for a run. And I found I would say, perfect loop that I can do in around 6-7 minutes the most. Of course, if I will run faster, it will be faster, but it's just about great for my slow runs and maintenance runs. It's about a mile, just below a mile long, which is between 1.5 and 1.6 kilometers. And I was able to do 3 of them and a little bit more to close on 5K with the walk back to the car park and cool down, properly rest and recover, and haven't had enough time to even watch Julian for a while and record his goal in the last penalty. So yeah, that seems like it might be the next habit to implement. So the runs will be more regular and aligned with the schedule of Julian's soccer. So I won't have to arrange it separately. Instead, we will have training at the same time, and then we can use the time that I would normally plan for myself and for my runs together as a family or just two of us. So that's great. Yeah, the day at work was quite packed. Today I need to also work on replanning and restructuring my calendar and how my work fits into the schedule, because I am still quite reactive to the things that happen at work, and when there's a lot of meetings during the day, it's very hard to do any work. So I need to block specific times and in between the meetings to make sure that nobody books me back to back. So I have plenty of time in between the meetings to prepare for the next one and to record necessary things after the meeting to not forget them in the future. Yeah, it's tomorrow is a calm before the storm day, as I call them as well, because the stormy day happens on Thursday. There's an office day on Thursday, so I'll be on the road for the whole day. And if any of you watches me on TikTok or wants to join me on TikTok, I will be live on the way into Dublin and on the way back. So that's a nice opportunity to meet face to face. Well, sort of, but I mean live, and exchange some feedback. I will be closing in now and wrapping up this episode. Nothing else fancy happened except for my actual commitment was saved today, albeit a bit later than on Monday. On Monday, I managed to do the post at 4 p.m., I believe, or just before 4 p.m. Today it was a bit later, I think, but still, it was before, definitely before 6, because Julian's training was at 6, and yeah, I was already done with the post by 6. And unfortunately now it's 11 p.m., 23:02 exactly. So I'm on the verge of being late, so I don't want to do that. I still have a shower to do, and a cold shower before I go to sleep, so it's important for me to not go over, because it's great to go to sleep normally and wake up refreshed and full of energy. So yeah, I have that Thursday and Friday will be quite packed, so I need to prepare tomorrow for that. And as a short review of what I wrote in the post, if you are not reading the blog, today's blog post was called Eat Some Bread, and it's just a kind of funny situation because myself and Julian, we like Moomins, the cartoon and the books, and we watched that for years. And recently we discovered on YouTube sort of meme around one of the characters. There's that character called Groke. If you know Moomins, then you probably know who Groke is. It's kind of twisted character because it's pictured a little bit and felt by the main characters like it's a kind of villain thing and a bad character, and because wherever it appears it starts freezing everything around it, and it's getting very cold, and plants are freezing and dying and all that stuff. But later on, as it appears in a couple of episodes, it it shows up that she, or well, I think it's a she, looks for warmth and potentially friendship and love, but wherever she goes and tries to enjoy the fire, or the campfire, or the people around it, the people either run away or fire goes out because of her curse or power that she has. So whenever she wants to get some warmth, it's impossible. So it feels like this character is much deeper in terms of the context than it's perceived. And that meme that we found, it's a grok that there's a little scene from Moomins, and it starts dancing like somebody just made a laugh of it. And there's a music that kind of got to my head, and we couldn't get any information about what that sound is, because the meme was called something else and it was in Finnish. So somebody from Finland just made that meme, and we started looking into comments, and somebody said something in Finnish that kind of looked like matching what was sang in the song. So I started looking using those words, and it came out that there is actually a Finnish artist that created some music, and somebody put that in that meme. So we found that out, and we started kind of having a laugh and singing. But then I kind of was curious, what's the actual lyrics, and went to Google Translate and tested those lyrics, and it turns out that the main phrase that is sang when that grok is kind of dancing or going up and down on some ridiculous legs is basically eat some bread. People are crazy. So yeah, so we had a big laugh about it, and now the world is, well, it will never be the same again. So thank you guys for coming. I really enjoy doing that for whoever is watching it. And remember one thing: eat some bread. See you tomorrow.